There's been a lot of interesting developments during the month of May, and I would like to highlight a few of them during our monthly economic update for the month of May. Starting off, there has been data that has been coming out in terms of the tax revenue numbers, the government revenue numbers, and it does show an increase of about 7.6% in the first quarter of this year compared to last year. But looking at the numbers a bit more closely, we can see that it is largely driven by non-tax revenues. Typically, those are some of the transfers that we see from the state institutions back to the central government. However, you've seen it increase in tax revenue. It's up about 2.6%, but close to 2/3 of the contribution towards this growth has been through these non-tax revenue measures. So that will be a key thing to watch out for as this year spans on. In particular, whether the government will be able to continue to maintain a primary fiscal balance, a positive in that respect, and whether they'll be able to maintain fiscal discipline by reducing the budget deficit. On the other hand, we've seen the currency very much under pressure over the last few weeks. So far this year, it's depreciated about 3.4% of the spot against the US dollar, and that, if you look at it, has been driven a lot by the global factors that's going on, because right now a lot of data that is coming out of the US is quite positive. We've seen the US, as a result, we've seen a more positive outlook on the US. The US treasuries have gone up, inched past 3%. We've seen on the back of that the dollar strengthening, so the dollar is up about 5% against a basket of currencies, and as a result, since countries like Sri Lanka are benchmark of the US dollar, we can see when the dollar strengthens, the rupee also weakening. And this trend is not only seen in Sri Lanka, but also in other countries like India and the Indonesia rupiah and currencies like that, which have not benefited from the dollar strengthening, as well as outflows from emerging markets that we've seen. And the other interesting point that generally is on most of our mind when we think of this month is the fuel price revision, which came into effect around the 11th of May. We did see somewhat of a big increase in fuel pricing, but this is after, I think, January 15, which we have not seen the prices of both diesel as well as petrol being revised since then. So the interesting thing is, yes, it did go back, but it's also in the backdrop of global oil prices, which have in that period between January 2015 to May gone up about 55%. So as a result, the local prices had to be changed to meet these global price levels as well. And interestingly, the government has also taken decision to move into a pricing formula. So the arrangement will be a pricing change every 2 months. That will happen, taking into account what is going on globally in terms of the global oil prices, and also taking into account the exchange rate as well. It's not the first time that Sri Lanka has actually gone into a pricing formula for fuel, because it was done in 2002 for about 2 years, and then consequently once again it went back to ad hoc changes. So it's not a first for Sri Lanka, it has been done before, and it'll be interesting to see just as it goes up, the prices get reduced. Similarly, when global oil prices reduce, or there's a change in dynamic, prices accordingly will reduce as well. And global oil prices can do that, because right now it edged up towards $80 a barrel, but over the last few trading days it has come off because there are more concerns that there will be more supply into the market. As a result, prices have come down. So that will be an interesting thing to watch with the pricing formula in the mix as well. So a mix of global and local factors that definitely put things in perspective and put things interesting as we head into June and the second half of 2018. Stay tuned for more updates on Economy.lk.